want to talk about a tradition unlike any other. They've got it here in Seattle with the raising of the 12th man flag. That was Paul Allen, owner of the Seahawks, as Dawson kicks it away into the back of the end zone, and the Seahawks will start at their 20. They celebrate their fans and use their fans for help here more than any other franchise in the NFL. And that's what Russell Wilson has done in his 2 years here at home. He and the Seahawks are dominant. Quick snap. Wilson keeps it, trying to get him going, and ball's out. It is recovered. Aldon Smith knocked it out and got on top. And a big start on the first play from scrimmage as Aldon Smith made the play, knocked it away, and then comes up with the recovery.
Seattle could not have had a worse start. Offensive coordinator Darrell Bevell talked about trying to get Russell Wilson going early in this game. They run the boot, get him outside, and he just fails to protect the football. Aldon Smith comes up, strips him. You see Aldon Smith, he's playing outside linebacker. He comes up the field. Russell Wilson doesn't secure the football. He knocks it loose and then recovers his own fumble. Wow. It's a great job by Aldon Smith, giving his 49er offense a short field.
And now that defense of Seattle comes onto the field as the 49ers take over at the 15. What a start. It's Gore left side, cuts upfield and runs into the arms of Chris Clemens, a gain of 2. How about Colin Kaepernick and what he has done this postseason? And he checks in with an overall record of 4-1 in playoff football. 2nd and 8. Kaepernick finds Crabtree. And Crabtree brought down by middle linebacker Bobby Wagner. 3rd down coming up. So now 3rd down and 6 for this offense that has 1 touchdown and 22 offensive possessions against the Seahawks this season.
It's a huge offensive possession right here to help set the tone. I mean, they got the short field. You know, clearly they are wanting to come away with some kind of points, 3 points, but failing to come up with a touchdown here is a huge win for this Seattle defense.
Kaepernick's going to take it. And Kaepernick got hit hard short of a 1st down. A 4-yard run. Bobby Wagner was there, and after the turnover, it's 3 plays from scrimmage and a field goal attempt coming from Dawson.
3 and out. They run the design quarterback draw. The Seattle Seahawks pick it up perfectly and make the key stop. That's a great job by the Seattle defense.
He's been perfect this postseason. And now 7 for 7. But no touchdown. It was Aldon Smith who set him up, forced it, recovered it. Defense for Seattle keeps the 49ers out of the end zone. 3-0. San Francisco on top.
This game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
As we welcome you back to Seattle, Spanish language broadcast available on both Fox Deportes and by utilizing SAP on Fox. Those are the first opening drive points allowed by the Seahawks defense this season. Regular season, they were the only team that could claim that prize as Baldwin gets it on the return and hops out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Forced out by Dan Skuta. And so now this offense You talked about it, Troy, in the on camera. It's really the entirety of this team, and they ride their good defense. The big plays have been missing, but this is a team that is built to run the football.
Yeah, really both of these teams are, Joe. When you look at the regular season, both the 49ers and Seahawks, the only two teams in all of the NFL that ran the ball more than they threw it. So this is old school football for both of these teams, and Seattle likes to play it close to the vest and get Marshawn Lynch going.
Play action now out to his right. Wilson throws and completes. Pass is caught by Zach Miller. Knocked out of bounds immediately by Brock. Gain of 7. And how about the other side? You know, you can talk all you want about Seattle and their defense, but this 49er defense is rolling, and they've not allowed a 100-yard rusher over their last 22 games.
Yeah, Marshawn Lynch had 98 yards in one of those meetings earlier in the regular season, but overall the 49ers in both of those games did a good job of containing Marshawn Lynch in this running game.
Aldon Smith coming off the edge. Handoff is to Marshawn Lynch. And Lynch is going to be stopped a yard shy of a first down, a gain of 2. There's big Glenn Dorsey in the middle. He's a guy that stuffed it. The 49ers lost Ian Williams, their nose tackle, here with a broken ankle week 2. And Dorsey has really filled a role and stepped up nicely.
Yeah, in that wild card game, he only had about 10 snaps because of how much Green Bay throws the ball. Last week, he was in virtually the entire game. Expect him on the field a lot here today as well.
It's 3rd down and 1. It's Lynch, and Lynch will not get it. NaVorro Bowman, the first guy there, and after forcing a fumble the first possession of Seattle, Jim Harbaugh celebrates the defense that gets a 3-and-out.
Well, that's their all-pro linebacker, NaVorro Bowman. He's had a great year. He's right here at the top, and he's able to navigate the offensive line and cut through there and get to Marshawn Lynch. We're going to be saying that a lot throughout this game. Another great stop, this time for the 49ers.
Now the punt from Ryan. It is hung high. Fair catch is hauled in inside the 30 by LaMichael James. There's a flag down just outside the 30. Indication is it's against San Francisco.
During the kick, holding, return team, number 57. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down, San Francisco. Timeout. They
get Michael Wilhoit. After a 47-yard punt. Take a break. 49ers have it. Second time up 3.
The game is sponsored by Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Tight end set for San Francisco, and it's Gore. Got a yard.
There's a penalty by Michael Wilhoit on the hold that backs San Francisco up on this drive,
which starts at the 19-yard line. Kaepernick keeps it out to his right. He's got his tight end. That's a rookie, and McDonald's got a first down. A 13-yard catch and run by Vance McDonald, who had just 8 catches during the regular season.
Well, as you would expect, Anquan Boldin drawing a lot of attention. Come up and jam him. And as Colin Kaepernick then gets outside, he's able to get the ball to Vance McDonald, who last week, because of the injury to Will Tupuafu, had to do a lot more blocking in that win against Carolina.
Tupuafu, the fullback, is active for this game. First down at the 33. Here's Kaepernick out to his right. Has McDonald in front of him, and he slides with a first down at midfield. 17-yard run by Colin Kaepernick, and you expect Kaepernick to do a lot of that early.
Well, I do, because in talking with Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator, he wanted to get Colin Kaepernick running the football early in this ball game. One, because Seattle likes to put the extra defender up there in run defense, and the only way you can match the numbers then is to use the quarterback as a runner. Expect to see more of that as we move through this game.
Here's Gore, nowhere to go. Red Bryant made the play. And Red Bryant, one of 2 players mentioned by defensive coordinator Dan Quinn as far as who had to step up in this game, and Bryant made that stop.
Well, Red Bryant, he's just able to get right there, and no one really handled him. You see Kaepernick, he gets rolled up on, came down a little awkwardly on that right ankle.
Loss of 1 second and 11. Kaepernick's going to do it again. And Kaepernick slides inside the 45 to the 43, gain of 8. 3rd down coming up.
Well, Seattle, they don't really disguise too much of what they're doing on the defensive side of the ball. As I said, they're going to stack an extra defender up there, try to handle the run, and then they have so much confidence in these corners on the outside that they just, it's hand-to-hand combat out there. You're going to get the same look over and over. And Pete Carroll said, hey, when you're as good as we are, you can play it pretty simple.
Kaepernick again sticks his nose in there, and he's a yard shy of a 1st down. Bobby Wagner made the play, and it's 4th down. And Jim Harbaugh's thinking about it on the sideline as his offense stays out on the field, and they're going to go for it, at least initially.
Will Tukuafu in the huddle, and last week is when he got injured. They weren't certain he was going to be able to play. This is where they need him. He's a big body, and he can clear out a hole.
Snap it.
Well, they're trying to use hard count, but
False start. Offense, number 85. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Joe, they're trying to use hard count at the line of scrimmage, see if they can draw Seattle off sides, but nobody can hear Colin Kaepernick.
So either way, it was going to be a penalty, either for the false start or the delay of game, and they were close to that anyway. Trying to draw Seattle across early to pick it up via the penalty. Instead, it's 4th and 6, and the punt from Andy Lee. Tate lets it go over his head, and it's down by Kasim Osgood at the 1. One of the best special teams players downfield for San Francisco, and a perfect punt by Andy Lee. 45 yards. Seattle has it at the 1.
This game on Fox is sponsored by Ford. Visit foxsports.com/New Girl to see how you can win a Ford Fusion Hybrid and a walk-on role in New Girl. And by Warner Brothers Pictures' 300 Rise of an Empire, in theaters March 7th.
Beautiful city of Seattle, Washington, and Pam talked about it before the game. That's Joe Staley, the left tackle for the 49ers, wearing earplugs, trying to deal with the crowd noise here in Seattle. Starting at the 1, flags fly. San Francisco came across early, and then Marshawn Lynch carried it for 8.
Really a great job of using the hard count by Russell Wilson. You're backed up on your own 1-yard line and pick up an easy 5 yards.
So Pete Carroll, do you want 1st and 5, or you want to take the play 2nd and 2?
Offside. Defense, number 99. 5-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
He wants the extra down, and it's against Aldon Smith, who, if you're just joining us, made a play from the first play from scrimmage when he came across, forced a fumble, and then recovered it to set up the field goal.
Yeah, but really a win by Seattle because of the defense being able to hold San Francisco to just 3 points. We talked about how much of a struggle it has been for the 49ers to score touchdowns against this defense, and that just reiterated the point to them offensively with great field position and failed to do anything with it.
On 1st down and 5, it's Lynch. Spins his way out near the 9. Meanwhile, last week it was Michael Bowie, a rookie who made 7 starts at right tackle, making his first start at left guard in that playoff game against the Saints. He's not even active today. James Carpenter started. He was inactive last week. Right now it's Paul McQuiston in at left guard for Seattle.
Yeah, they've rotated those guys through. A lot of changes throughout the year for that offensive line of Seattle. Not one guy on that offensive line started all 16 games this year.
2nd and 2. Here's Lynch, left side. And Marshawn Lynch got hit by Glenn Dorsey. Depends on the spot. You see the line judge has got his left foot right on that line. And Steratore is going to call out the change. Gene Steratore, by the way, refereed 3 separate NCAA college basketball games this week: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So hopefully he didn't call traveling in today's game. Here is the all-star crew. Mike Pereira is with us. He's our all-star. He's over here next to Troy, all snuggled up in the cold. Mike Pereira, this all-star crew idea, where guys who spend all year surrounded by the same core group. Now you get into the biggest games of the year and you got different guys you're relying on.
Well, except when you get to this level now, you're talking about the top 3 guys at each position. So you really think if they got this far at that level, they'll be fine together.
What do you think about the way they're going to officiate this game? And we haven't seen it yet, but there's been a lot of grabbing and a lot of stuff on the outside with defensive backs and wide receivers.
Yeah, I think they're very concerned first about establishing control, which they've done, and Aaron pointed it out even before the game.
Ball at the 11 on 1st down. Wilson protected, floats it too far for Jermaine Kearse. Carlos Rogers, who missed the last 2 games with a bad hamstring, was there for the 49ers.
They had the right call on, too. They got man coverage. They've got the corner route against Carlos Rogers. Test him out, see if he's healthy. And these are the throws that Seattle was able to hit through the first 12 weeks of the season. They were one of the best in the league at completing the deep ball. Last 4 weeks of the regular season, they had the 2nd fewest in the NFL. They missed another opportunity right there.
Jim Tomsula, who's the defensive line coach, who's talking to Carlos Rogers. 2nd and 10. Jim will talk to anybody if you walk in his area.
And he'll entertain you, too.
On 2nd down, Lynch gets it. Justin Smith made the play. 3rd down coming up.
Well, Carlos Rogers, it is his first game back in the postseason, and we saw him go off the field as he comes back on. He is only playing in their nickel defenses, so when they just have 2 corners on the field, then he will be on the sideline. When they go with their 5 defensive backs, he'll come in and play the slot.
3rd down and 6. Wilson gonna step up, floating. He got it. Pass is caught by Doug Baldwin. Nearly picked off by Eric Reed, and it went over him for a 22-yard completion from Russell Wilson.
I was really surprised that Russell Wilson elected to throw the ball because he had open field and could have picked up the 1st down easily by running the ball. When he let this go, Joe, I thought it was going to be intercepted by Eric Reed. He was in a great position to make a play, just fails to. It looked like he got his left hand on the ball. Great concentration by Doug Baldwin.
50 catches during the regular season for Baldwin. Made 2 catches against the Saints last week. On first down, Wilson. Over the middle. Pass is dropped, but a flag for the hit. That's Luke Wilson. And it was Dante Whitner who came in. Flag is thrown. We'll hear from Sterator.
Rolling on the field is an incomplete pass. Personal foul. Defense, number 31. Hit to the head and neck area. 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
There's Dante Whitner. It looked like he got him with his shoulder, Joe, as the ball arrives. He comes in. He does launch himself left shoulder, and that appears to be what hit Luke Wilson then as he leads with the left shoulder. So it looked like it was shoulder pad to shoulder pad. I don't know that he got any part of the helmet there, Joe. At second look, I think that might have been a bad call.
From the 49, it's Lynch. He's bottled up after a gain of 2. Meanwhile, it was Eric Reed who hit the receiver Wilson that changed his body angle entirely here, and then Whitner comes in and it's shoulder pad to shoulder pad.
Yeah, that was a clean hit. Shouldn't have been called. Should have been an easy completion, though. Russell Wilson had Luke Wilson right down the middle of the field, and he was a little casual in turning it loose, and so what should have been a very easy catch turned into a contested play with a poor officiated call at the end.
On 2nd and 8, Wilson finds Lynch. Penalty flag on the play as Marshawn Lynch, at least for the moment, has picked up a first down. Well, the flag is down. And Gene Sterator has been busy. 4 penalties so far on San Francisco.
Holding. Offense, number 68. 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
And now that's the first penalty of the game against Seattle, the most penalized team in the NFL this season.
It's Breno Giacomini. I think him and J.R. Sweezy probably was more at fault on that play. So the penalty backs him up, Joe. But remember where this drive began, on the 1-yard line. So if nothing else, Pete Carroll's pretty happy. He wants to play field position, and they have definitely now changed field position if they fail to do anything from this point.
2nd down and 18. Now Turbin in the backfield. Wilson finds him as a blocker in front. He's tripped up by Bowman as Turbin picks up 9. The 2014 Pro Bowl is unconferenced. It's fantasy football for real. Hall of Famers Jerry Rice and Deion Sanders select the teams this Wednesday at the first ever Pro Bowl draft, and watch the Pro Bowl live from Hawaii next Sunday at 7 Eastern. Go to NFL.com/Pro Bowl to learn more.
You talk about the draft, it's going to have a little different look this year. I'm interested in seeing how that goes over.
Now 3rd and 9.
Set 51, set 51.
Wilson is sacked, and it's NaVorro Bowman. The all-pro linebacker for San Francisco came in, a loss of 11 with a sack of Russell Wilson.
Well, Turbin comes over to help pick up the block here, but here's NaVorro Bowman who comes free. So they bring one more defender than they can pick up. The back picks up the blitzing slot defender Carlos Rogers. It leaves Bowman with a clear path to Russell Wilson.
And that'll do it for the first quarter here in Seattle. That linebacker group is the best in the game, and NaVorro Bowman, the all-pro, headed to his 2nd Pro Bowl. That's his 2nd sack of the postseason. These two face-to-face in the NFC Championship game. No surprise with these two defenses. It's a 3-0 game after 1. Ryan will punt it. Two great middle at least inside linebackers for the 49ers. Bowman and Willis sitting there talking about it. And here comes the punt with LaMichael James waiting for it. He muffed it. Recovered by San Francisco. Ricardo Lockett was there to help knock it out. Daryl Morris, a rookie corner, got on top of it. And LaMichael James is slow to get up. Morris saved it for the 49ers, who have it up 3.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Samsung Galaxy. The next big thing is here. By Frost Brewed Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer. And by Nationwide Insurance. Nationwide is on your side.
The number 12 all over this city. Saluting the 12th man and the fans here in Seattle. Michael James, you can see just now getting up. Here's Lockett. He delivers the hit after the muff punt. Helmet comes off the head of James. Morris gets on top of the football. So San Francisco keeps it. Meanwhile, on the other side of the field, Jeremy Lane runs the sideline. Runs into a member of the 49ers group on the sideline. He gets knocked to the ground, and then he has to fight his way back onto the field. And James has really solidified the return game for the 49ers. Is going to need attention on the sideline.
Yeah, he's done a nice job as a return guy since he took over that role. You hope he's okay. You saw him going to the turf. His neck got twisted, a grab of the helmet, and that's why it came off.
Crowd not as loud as the 49ers have it at the 14. Pass is caught by Boldin. And now incomplete as he lost it going to the ground. Byron Maxwell in coverage. Boldin had it for a moment and then lost it. 2nd and 10.
Well, these are the balls that Anquan Boldin and Colin Kaepernick are going to have to be able to complete. Certainly should have been able to make the catch. Normally he would. But throws are going to be contested. They're going to be contested just like that one was throughout this game.
7th straight start for Byron Maxwell. He knocked it out. 2nd and 10. Handoff is to Gore. Gore got a yard, that's all. Malcolm Smith made the tackle.
You're going to see what happens defensively and how they have to try to communicate to one another. There's so much discussion about what it does to an opposing team's offense. All this crowd noise. This defense, they have to be able to communicate. They've gotten awfully good at being able to do that. But sometimes, as we just saw, it can prove problematic for them as well.
3rd down and 9. Kaepernick just got rid of it. Pass incomplete, but a flag. Kaepernick just got it away. Crabtree, the intended target. Richard Sherman was there for Seattle.
Yeah, there was contact throughout this route.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 25. 5-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
You see the grab right there is Michael Crabtree's trying to come back, work back towards Colin Kaepernick as he takes a hit at the end of this play. And you know, as a quarterback, you've got these pass rushers that are able to bring pressure off the edges. Your offensive linemen are getting off the count a little bit slow, and then every throw being contested on the outside. It is tough.
On 1st down, it's Gore, and what a play up front. That one made by McDonald. Clinton McDonald came through, made the stop, no gain. And Gore has yet to get any traction in this game.
Clinton McDonald right in the middle of that defense, and he's one of those guys. In order to contain this 49er running game, those 2 inside guys, they've got to do their part, and they've done that.
Vernon Davis and Kam Chancellor going at it. 2nd and 10. linebacker and slides for a first down. He went around KJ Wright. The linebacker who broke his foot in San Francisco missed 4 games, and Kaepernick went right by him. He's carried it 5 times for 43 yards.
Yeah, KJ Wright, who's back, he's essentially spying on Colin Kaepernick. They feel that he can do the job of containing him and keeping him from gaining much yardage, but he fails to make the tackle on that play. When you play the man coverages on the outside, it opens up running lanes. Somebody then has to account for Kaepernick if he tucks it and runs.
On first down, Kaepernick going to do it again. And Kaepernick with those long strides inside Seattle territory. Colin Kaepernick is going to be tripped up at the 10. And number 7 is doing it again for San Francisco, 58 yards. Chancellor saved a touchdown, but Kaepernick just gliding through this defense.
But watch these linebackers this time. Whereas before, KJ Wright was watching Kaepernick, this time no eyes on Kaepernick. They drop into their zone coverages. You would expect then to be able to come up and make a play, but Kaepernick, as we know, is a dynamic runner.
Here's Gore. He gets maybe 2. Colin Kaepernick is already over 100 yards for the day on the ground. And people talk about, because he's a long strider, it's like he's galloping 5 yards per stride. And when we talked to Richard Sherman, he said he's hard to get an angle on because he's faster than he looks.
Well, that's right, because he does have such a long stride. He gets up on you a lot faster than you anticipate. He's the X factor, as we've seen. He's changed field position, and now he's got his team right in the position to come away with more points.
Here's Gore. Gore down to the 1. It'll be 3rd and goal from the 1 after a carry of 7 yards, and that's the best run of the day for Frank Gore.
Well, that's a good job up front by that offensive line. Frank Gore, it's been pretty tough sledding here in this first half for him. But a good block by right tackle Anthony Davis, and then Mike Upati, the big left guard, Pro Bowl player, was not healthy and did not play the last time these 2 teams met.
Dixon in a tailback. He gets it, and he is going to come up short. Milk touchdown. A late call as the line judge came in, made sure that Dixon crossed that plane, and evidently just got the nose of the football in for the score. Let's take another look.
He tries to get in behind Will Tukuafu, and I don't know if there's contact that's made. He was short.
There's contact there. He goes down. It's a scoring play, so they're going to review it. And that's awfully close.
Be reviewed.
And because it is a scoring play, they'll give it another look. And an interesting call. When we come back, Dixon, Bryant made the hit. We'll get the call. Mike Pereira, what'd you see?
Well, here's what I see here with this shot. Watch the right forearm, and that's the thing. First of all, he is touched by a defender, so he would be down by contact. There the forearm hits, then he rolls over. So if they stop it there with the forearm when it hits, then I think you reverse that, and he is short before he rolls over.
Certainly looks short right there. We'll get the call from Sterator here momentarily, and if he is ruled short, then it's 4th and goal from just outside the end zone, and a decision for Jim Harbaugh. But the ruling on the field was touchdown as the line judge came in. By the time the line judge came in, he was clearly into the end zone, but I think you can see the forearm, as Mike Pereira said, down after being contacted by the defender. And is there enough evidence to overturn the call? Here it is.
After review, it has been determined that the runner's arm landed in the field of play down by contact. The ball was short of the goal line, just inside the 1-yard line. So it will be San Francisco's ball, 4th and goal. Ball just inside the 1-yard line, and the clock will start on the ready for play.
Red Bryant made that play, saved the touchdown for now. And here comes the offense for San Francisco on 4th and goal.
I like this call by Jim Harbaugh. You just don't know how many times you're going to get an opportunity down here to get more than just a field goal.
49ers overall 8 for 13 on 4th down this season. It's Dixon, and it's a touchdown. Anthony Dixon is in for the score. And the touchdown for Jim Harbaugh's 49ers. And a player is down for San Francisco.
I think Daniel Kilgore, he makes one of the key blocks because he's able to block up the linebacker who would have been right there in the hole to try to make a play. That was a good job.
You can see Upati at the bottom of the pile. He's the player that can't get up. Mike Upati, the 2-time Pro Bowler, missed 4 starts with a knee injury. They look at him on the field. We'll take a break before the extra point. The touchdown for Dixon for the 49ers.
Sponsored by the all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado, strong for all the roads ahead.
They've been looking at Mike Upati. He's going to need help to get off the field after blocking for the touchdown for Anthony Dixon. The extra point is coming. Meanwhile, think about the drive. It started with a muff punt. Morris got on top of it. 49ers got a first down with that penalty on a hold on Richard Sherman. And then you get Kaepernick, a 58-yard run, which is the longest against the Seahawks all season, and a career-long run for Colin Kaepernick. That set it up. And then they pounded it in on 4th and goal from just outside the end zone with Dixon.
Well, you think about these last 2 postseason games for the 49ers and the runs that Kaepernick has had at various times that have set up scoring opportunities. Of course, the 3rd and 8 in the wild card game against Green Bay. Last week he didn't run for as many yards, but a great job there on this drive of getting the team in position to come away with that touchdown. Now with Mike Upati, and they're still working him off the field right now. As I said, Pro Bowl left guard, an outstanding player. He's very physical, one of the strongest guys in all of football. They'll miss him in a game like this. Fortunately for the 49ers, they've got a seasoned veteran in Adam Snyder, who at one time was a starter here for the San Francisco 49ers, who will step in and should be okay.
The extra point from Dawson to make it 10-0. Do not miss Bruno Mars and the Red Hot Chili Peppers performing live at the Pepsi Super Bowl 48 halftime show on February 2nd. Check out exclusive content on Pepsi.com and get hyped for halftime. We know the Broncos will be there. They won it back-to-back years, 97, 98. And now it's Peyton Manning, who was heartbroken in that double overtime loss last year to the Ravens. He takes his team to Super Bowl 48.
Yeah, congratulations to the Denver Broncos, Pat Boldin, John Fox, Peyton Manning. What a game he had. We had a chance to watch some of that before we came into this one, and man, he was on fire. So great job by him.
Let's take a look at what happened to Mike Upati. Watch the left knee of Upati pinned under bodies, and that's why he couldn't get up and get off the field without a lot of help.
Yeah, he got rolled up on. You always worry about that in those types of situations. That many guys down there in the trenches trying to make a play on 4th and goal, and the way that he got off the field, he's not going to return to this game, and then you just wonder what his status will be here in a couple weeks if in fact the 49ers go on and win.
Doug Baldwin Baldwin will wait for the kick from Dawson. The 49ers get rid of it up by 10. Chance to return it. Baldwin got around Ventrone and can't make the 25. So now back to work is Russell Wilson. Let's meet that two-time Pro Bowler. Two-sport star. A world of talent from Virginia. Was a collegiate high school star in both football and baseball. Quarterback NC State and Wisconsin. Drafted by the Rockies. A third-round selection by Seattle. Took over leading into last year. He has been phenomenal. Quick throw, pass is caught. That's Baldwin, who just returned the kick, and he is ripped to the ground out of bounds by Dante Whitner.
We came into this game talking about Russell Wilson and some of the struggles that he has had and this offense has had over the last month of the season. He certainly entered the playoffs much differently than he did a year ago. They were playing very good football. He was playing some of his best football when they went into the postseason. Not the case this year. Of course, last week's game with the conditions, that led to some of the inefficiencies throwing the football. But like I said, they just failed to make the big plays in the passing game that you got accustomed to seeing.
On 2nd and 3, McDonald can't get to Wilson, who's out of the pocket and throws it away. Ahmad Brooks was right in his face. 3rd down and 3 coming up. And this 49er defense is absolutely rolling. They wanted Green Bay, they wanted Carolina, and they look good here today.
Yeah, they've been really good. And Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator, he's been tremendous. There were some concerns of their own coming into postseason because they'd given up a lot of yardage in the passing game, but they open up in the wild card game against the Packers, and they held Aaron Rodgers to under 200 yards passing. And every week, Vic Fangio has a little bit different look, and he's done a nice job.
4 men on the rush. Pass is caught by Tate. And Golden Tate's got a 1st down, a gain of 4. Tate, the leading receiver during the regular season. That was not going to be the plan for Seattle. They made that big deal to get Percy Harvin. They lost Sidney Rice in week 8 at St. Louis, but Tate ended up with 64 catches. That led this team. Harvin inactive in this game, out with a concussion. Here's Lynch. And Lynch ran into Glenn Dorsey.
Yeah, for Seattle, it was a little bit like what Colin Kaepernick went through with the San Francisco 49ers as far as some of his key guys, whereas Colin came into the year without Michael Crabtree. Russell Wilson had Sidney Rice, and he just played 8 games, and then he was done for the year. And you mentioned Percy Harvin. He essentially didn't play at all, just parts of 2 games, including last week's win against the New Orleans Saints. So he's had to deal with a short deck throughout this year also.
2nd down and 7. Wilson out to his right. Nowhere to throw it. Now Dorsey can't get to him. And this one down the middle of the field. It's Baldwin. Baldwin down inside the 15. Russell Wilson kept it alive. 51 yards to Doug Baldwin.
Well, this is one of the big plays, and so often they come off of the scramble by Russell Wilson. They've got him trapped. Actually had the 49ers did 2 defenders deep, but they just got a little bit careless on the back end. Dante Whitner and Eric Reed. They allowed Baldwin to get down the middle of the field and get open for them. And Russell Wilson shows off a strong arm and being able to get it down the field.
And now one of the Seahawks players was trying to get off the field. That's Baldwin. And he went down, so they're going to look at him. Russell Wilson got a hit from Ahmad Brooks at the end of it. But he got a 51-yard completion to Doug Baldwin, who then, trying to get to the sideline, couldn't make it all the way there.
Well, Doug Baldwin does an outstanding job on that play, recognizing that his quarterback was in trouble, and he was on one side of the field and then works back. so that Russell Wilson could find him. As soon as he got up, he was not moving very well, Joe, and as you said, he just couldn't even get to the sidelines.
Third catch. The big play, 51 yards for the Seahawks at the time when they desperately needed it.
So many times you talk about it, the big plays are what set up scoring opportunities. The big run by Colin Kaepernick allowed them to come away with a touchdown. Now you've got Russell Wilson buying some time, finding Baldwin down the field, and here they are now right on the 11-yard line.
Seattle had only 48 yards of offense before that play. 51 yards to set up first down at the 11. Blitz coming, and Wilson brought down by Scuda. Vic Fangio dials up a blitz, and it's Dan Scuda with his second sack of the postseason.
Well, they stand up to 3 guys. They bring Scuda. Nobody's accounting for him, and you're right. Vic Fangio does not call the blitz really all that often, and usually when he does, it's just linebackers, but they're pretty effective when they do. They typically get home.
A lot of pressure on Russell Wilson. 3 sacks for this 49er defense so far. Here's Lynch trying to get him going. Marshawn Lynch dragged to the ground. It's Carlos Rogers who made the tackle, but he wasn't alone. A gain of 2.
NaVorro Bowman, you got to credit him, and he's already had himself an outstanding first half to this ball game, and he steps up and feels the lane and didn't allow Marshawn Lynch to get where he wanted to go, and he then had to bounce it. And this team, like Seattle's defense, has great team speed, just hard to get to the outside on them.
Already has 7 tackles in this game, 3rd and 13. Wilson, pass incomplete. It's 4th down. And a good stop for this 49er defense after that 51-yarder to Doug Baldwin.
There's no question. You give up the big play down the middle to Baldwin, and Seattle is set up perfectly then to try to come away with a touchdown, and they tighten up and force Seattle to have to settle for a field goal attempt. That's a great job of making a key stop then when they had to.
32-yard try coming from Hauschka. He's had a great year, as you can see. First points of the day for Seattle. It was a big catch that set it up. 51 yards to Doug Baldwin. The 49er defense keeps him out of the end zone. 7-point game. The 49er defense has allowed 15 points per game in 2 postseason games so far. On the road, stopping Seattle after that big play to Baldwin. It's a 10-3 game. Under 6 to go first half. '49ers will start at the 20. Take a break, come back. Colin Kaepernick, he has been so good. Back to work. Tight. It's what we thought coming in, what we've seen. 10-3 game, under 6 to go, first half. Kaepernick's over 100, last to do it. The championship game. Thurman Thomas back in '94 against the Chiefs. Crowd's back. And so's Kaepernick to pass. It's dropped by Boldin. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Well, Joe, 49ers left guard Mike Iupati, he continues to be looked at back in the locker room. Iupati could put no weight as he was carted off the field, walked off the field and carted off. He's got an ankle injury and is questionable. Back to you.
All right, well, Adam Snyder has taken over. He made 4 starts at that spot when Iupati was out. As Troy said, a good backup, a lot of depth on each side. is thrown, and Kaepernick loses yardage. First guy there was Bennett. It's a hold against San Francisco.
Holding. Offense, number 89. Penalty is declined. Third down.
They got Vance McDonald on the hold, and the hold was against Michael Bennett, who's been a real playmaker for this defensive unit. Here's McDonald, 89. He's the one who gets called for the hold, but Michael Bennett has had a terrific postseason, played outstanding last week in that win over the New Orleans Saints.
Third down and 12. Kaepernick, pass is caught. That's Patton. Ball comes out. And they are going to say it's a catch, forward progress, no fumble. It's fourth down. So it's a catch, forward progress, no fumble. Fourth down for San Francisco, and Lee is on to punt.
Yeah, I think that's a good call, too. Quentin Patton coming across, and forward progress had stopped. Ball comes out, so. But a good stop, nevertheless, by Seattle defensively, and they should get good field position here with plenty of time left in this second quarter.
Line drive punt. Boldin Tate cannot get around Osgood, who made a play earlier. Kasim Osgood, one of the best in the business. 42-yard punt. Seahawks have it. Down 7. Aerial coverage provided by Nationwide Insurance. It is a cold, damp, foggy day, and Marshawn Lynch, his longest run, Troy, in this first half is 3 yards.
No, they've kept him bottled up. There's no doubt. And we talked about coming into this game, Joe. I really believe that whoever runs the ball the best is going to be the team that wins. Neither running back has had any success running the football. The 49ers have, but that's because of the runs by Colin Kaepernick.
Here's Lynch. And Marshawn with his longest of the day, 7 yards. Whitner on the tackle. The night before Super Bowl 48, find out who will take home the NFL's most prestigious awards. Tune in for the announcement of Rookie of the Year, MVP, the 2014 Hall of Fame class, and more. It's a big night. It's Saturday, February 1st, the night before the Super Bowl at 8.
Well, one of the guys who's certainly worthy of an award for Defensive Player of the Year, NaVorro Bowman. He's had a great first half in this game.
Second down to 3. Handoff is to Lynch. McDonald made the hit, and Lynch knocked down right at the marker. You can see the officials say first down. It is a first down for Seattle. With under 3.5 to go, Seattle and San Francisco, all 3 of their timeouts.
Well, Pete Carroll, he's not going to give up on this running game. He's going to continue with it throughout the ball game. But as we talk about often, as you move into the second half and these tougher runs, they start to break a little bit, and things tend to loosen up. We'll see if that happens for Marshawn Lynch. Pretty balanced in terms of what they've done here in this first half, calling plays.
Here's Lynch, nowhere to go. Justin Smith was the first guy there. Willis was in on the tackle, and Justin Smith, I mean, this guy, the 4-time Pro Bowler in his 13th year, is about as strong as there is in the NFL.
Well, Justin Smith right there, you see what he's able to do. He just runs right through him, and then he makes a play, and Marshawn Lynch has nowhere to go with the ball, and that's the way it's pretty much been here throughout this first half. And Justin Smith is an absolute, I think, called Marshawn Lynch beast mode. I think the same could be said for Justin Smith.
Here's Marshawn trying to pick his way through this defense. A gain of 8. Coming up on the 2-minute warning here in Seattle. 13 total points. And a third down and 2 on the other side of the break. Good game. Good game to see who's going to take on the Broncos in Super Bowl 48 in Seattle. 2 minutes left. first half. We are going to call it 3rd down and 3. 2 minutes left, first half. For Seattle down 7. Aldon Smith came across early. Was he drawn off by movement on the offensive line? The early indication is that he was.
False start. Offense number 15. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
They get Jermaine Kearse for the false start.
You see Jermaine Kearse at the top, and he moved, but
Carroll didn't agree. There was movement up top by Aldon Smith, and it was Kearse who was in the slot here near side who flinched.
Yeah, the receiver should never be called for a false start. He should be watching the ball the entire time, but they got him.
And now on 3rd down, a completion for a first down to Doug Baldwin. We saw him leave earlier. He's back, and he makes a tough catch for a first down.
Yeah, he does. They run the inside slant route to him, and this was a throw that last week Russell Wilson had a couple times and just failed to complete the pass. But this was a big 3rd down conversion here to keep this drive going.
A 9-yard completion on 3rd and 8. 3 timeouts left for Seattle. Russell Wilson in trouble. Extending the play. And turns it into a positive play. Not a big one, just a 3-yard gain. Out of bounds with 1:15 left. Pressure by Ray McDonald.
He had an opportunity at the back to his left off the play action, but after that there really was nowhere for him to go with the football. So Russell Wilson shows some of the things that he's able to do rather than just throw it away and look at 2nd and 10. He's able to at least pick up some positive yardage to make it a 2nd and 7.
Wilson looking downfield, and down he goes. Brought down from behind, and it's Aldon Smith again. A loss of 1.
He had time within the pocket to turn this one loose, Joe, and Jermaine Kearse is running the dig route, and had he have turned it loose and trusted that he was going to be able to come in front of Dante Whitner, he has a chance for a pretty good game. And Russell Wilson usually is able to turn that loose, but he just didn't trust it enough, and then it was too late, and Aldon Smith was there to make a play.
Aldon Smith, he made the first play of the day. With a sack, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, and that's 4 sacks in this game for San Francisco compared to none for Seattle. Aldon Smith's got 2. He had 2 the first time these two clubs met in week 2. 3rd and 8. Wilson way back into his own territory, flips it ahead. Pass is caught. Tackle is made by Brock. It's Zach Miller on that little flip from Russell Wilson. A gain of just 2 after all that, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, we've seen some linebacker blitzes that Vic Fangio has dialed up. This time he just goes with a 4-man rush, and he plays coverage, dropping 7. And there was nowhere for Russell Wilson to go with the football. Just an excellent job in the secondary. Russell Wilson is at least at the end of the play able to find somebody, but doesn't really go for much.
Timeout is taken here by Seattle. 27 seconds remaining. It would be a 56-yard try from this spot, which would be 2 yards beyond the career long for Steven Hauschka. That little set's going to pop open. And when it does, inside it'll be Kurt, and Terry, and Michael, and Jimmy, and Howie providing the Visa halftime before what should be an intense second half here in Seattle.
I saw Jimmy breaking it down with Ken Norton Jr. before the ball game. Of course, Ken Norton was on some of those teams that I was a part of with Jimmy as the head coach. And those guys don't get a chance to come to the stadium and be a part of these games often.
They're going to go for it on 4th down and 6. Pass on the 56-yard try and not punt. They let a little bit of time elapse before calling that timeout. Pete Carroll made up his mind, and they're going to give it a shot. Wilson out to his right. Throws. It is incomplete. But a flag is thrown at the end of the play. Golden Tate was the target on the pass, and the flag came after the incompletion. And the officials huddle. Carlos Rogers was there for San Francisco. And let's see if they pick this flag up or if it's against San Francisco as Rogers pleads his case. Here's a call from Steratore, and now he gets more counsel. And Steratore has been in 2 different meetings before this call.
In some of these games, they let them play, and they got...
After the play was over, personal foul. Number 22 of San Francisco. This penalty occurs after 4th down with an incomplete pass. It will be San Francisco's ball, 1st and 10, after a 15-yard penalty.
So it was after the play was over. Jim Harbaugh's going crazy, but it's his ball.
Well, that's the call right there when they push him. I think it was a bad call to begin with, but because it was a dead ball foul, San Francisco will still maintain possession of the football. So, you know, really not much harm there, but I don't think the call should have been made to begin with.
No doubt. It's for that shove right there. There's not a ton there. But because it happened after the incompletion on a 4th down pass, it was considered a dead ball foul. 49ers get it. They'll take a knee, and this will be a 7-point game at the half.
Well, and I probably shouldn't say no harm, because they do lose some yardage, and they do have still some timeouts, and they could have used those to maybe get themselves in a position, but at least it didn't keep the Seattle drive alive.
San Francisco, with all 3 of their timeouts, will go to the dressing room with a 7-point lead. They wanted Green Bay. They wanted Carolina trying to win in Seattle, where it is tough to win. Good game. NFC Championship. 10-3. 49ers lead it at the half. Calls this the best active rivalry in the NFL. 10-3 game at the half. I'm Joe. That's Troy. I haven't seen the crowd noise really affect San Francisco offensively all that much.
No, I haven't either. I think they've managed it pretty well. I mean, you look at that first half, the difference in this game really has been the long run by Colin Kaepernick to make this a 10-3 ball game. Both defenses have really done a nice job. You can follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. 49ers start the second half with the lead and the football. This is James. Spins out to the 21. As we start this second half, we take you down to the field. Here's Aaron Andrews.
Joe, I caught up with Pete Carroll coming out of the half, and he said we have got to make a tackle. That's why Colin Kaepernick is killing us. He said on that long 58-yard run, we missed at least 3 of them. I also asked him about the pressure that they're getting on Russell Wilson, and he just said we have to get the ball out quicker.
Aaron, thank you. The crowd's trying to climb back into it. McLemore got him pumped up at halftime. It's Gore knocked down at the 20. Lost a yard. Tony McDaniel in there to make the stop for Seattle. Take a look at the statistics after a half. So far, 98 of the 49ers' 128 yards have come from runs by Colin Kaepernick. The record here is just over 137 with a decibel level. Now on second down, Kaepernick. A rare completion. It's Boldin. Anquan good for 6. That's his first catch. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Well, Joe, I talked to Jim Harbaugh at the half about the sheer tone that the defense set in the first half. He said he wants that to carry over into every aspect. He's talking about adjustments on offense, defense, and special teams. What might those be, Coach? He looked at me as if to say, please. On the injury front, left guard Mike Upati will not return with an ankle, Joe.
Third down and 5. Kaepernick out to his left, throws and completes to Crabtree. Back across the field, and Kaepernick made a good throw moving to his left, good for 12 yards. Byron Maxwell was in on the stop, and now he's down on the turf.
A dangerous throw by Colin Kaepernick as he rolls to his left and trying to get enough on it. He sees Crabtree. Crabtree sets it down in the hole. And as you said, Byron Maxwell on the ground, and that would be a big blow to this secondary.
He's played so well. They take a look at him. We'll step aside. First down, San Francisco, when we come back.
Sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By the new 2014 Lexus GX. Dare to be spontaneous. By Pizza Hut. Try our all-new delicious hand-tossed pizza right now. And by Pepsi. Join Pepsi and Bruno Mars February 2nd for the Super Bowl 48 halftime show.
Francisco out across their own 35. Kaepernick protected. Crabtree overthrown. That completion to Crabtree, which we'll show you, was the first third down conversion by the 49ers in this game.
It was the first conversion, as you said, to keep the drive going, and because Byron Maxwell had come out of the game and they go with Walter Thurman in his place, they come right back and they try to take a shot on Thurman, but he was in good coverage.
So they check Maxwell. Second and 10. Bobbling the ball is Gore, and he's happy just to hang on. He had to pin it against his leg, and Frank Gore almost put it on the ground, a loss of 6.
Kaepernick thought that he was going to hand the ball off to his left. Frank Gore thought it was going to stay on the right, and they're fortunate that they were able to hold on to this. We saw it last week against Carolina down near the goal line when they didn't get the exchange. Almost a disastrous play there.
Third down and 16. Kaepernick stumbling. Keeps it alive and then skips it into Gore, incomplete. It's fourth down.
The way that drive went, Joe, there, the 49ers, even at the end of this, Kaepernick trying to protect the football within the pocket before he gets outside contained. I think they're just happy to be punting this football. Could have very easily, on the exchange problems with Frank Gore, have given the ball to Seattle with outstanding field position.
Lee. Line drive punt. Golden Tate from inside the 30. Not a good punt. Decent return out near the 39-yard line. 9-yard return. Near disaster for San Francisco. Gore able to hang on. Seattle has it first time, second half, down 7. Well, if you've come to see a game that you hope would feature a lot of offense, turn off your TV immediately. This is the wrong game for you. I dare you. The game's too good. Handoff is to Marshawn Lynch. got 11 and a first down.
That's his best run of the game. It was just 7 yards, and now he picks up 11 yards on this first down run. And you know, that's what you talk about. They've kept him bottled up, and now what happens here in the second half? You see Marshawn Lynch, and he is obviously a very powerful runner. I don't think he gets enough credit for how nifty he is with the football as well. He can make people miss. He creates space for himself. He's a terrific player.
Longest carry of the day, as Troy said, 11 yards. First down from the 49. They want to get number 24 rolling. Inside the 45. McDonald and Whitner on the stop, a gain of 5.
As I said, Pete Carroll and Darrell Bevell, the offensive coordinator, they're going to stick with it. And talking with Carroll coming into this game, he likes the formula. He likes the way that they've been able to play, especially over the last month of the season when people have questioned some of the things that they've not been able to do on the offensive side of the ball. He likes the fact that they're playing great defense, running the football, and never was that more evident than in last week's win against the Saints.
Four wide receivers in the ballgame. This is Baldwin to the 40. Got around Brooks. Willis made the stop. That's his 49er linebacker level. Brooks missed the tackle, and Patrick Willis is there to clean up. Add to that group NaVorro, Bowman, the All-Pro, Aldon Smith, an All-Pro last year. Here were the first half possessions for the Seahawks. We have it right now for the first time in the second half, facing 3rd and 1. It's Lynch. It's a first down. Marshawn is in for the touchdown.
You watch Alvin Bailey, who comes in as the extra tight end offensive lineman, the block that he makes right there, and then Eric Reed, the rookie free safety, overruns it, and Marshawn Lynch able to take this in for a touchdown. Seems like every time you watch a Seattle game, you got Marshawn Lynch taking a pretty good run in for a touchdown. He does again.
How about a 40-yard touchdown run for Marshawn Lynch? He loves this time of year. You just can't get him to the ground. And we're tied in Seattle. 9 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams have been won by the home team. Marshawn Lynch put together the longest run against the 49ers this season with the 40-yard touchdown run. It's also the longest run against San Francisco in the Jim Harbaugh era. And it just happens to tie this NFC Championship game at 10. Taking it out is James. Out to the 16, well covered. And we'll go back to the touchdown by Lynch.
Well, it's a great job inside. As you see the job that the offensive line does, and as I pointed out, Alvin Bailey, he makes a key block. Eric Reed, he comes up. He would have been in a position to make a play. He just simply overran it. So you look at this game up to this point, and what's happened, and 2 big runs have allowed this game to be knotted up.
Golden Tate tried to catch a Skittle in his mouth. It was raining Skittles down to our right when Lynch took it in. Power pellets. First down, San Francisco, tie game. Here's Gore. 49ers need to get him going. And the ball comes out. They call him down. A gain of 9 by Frank Gore, who has been held in check. The biggest Super Bowl week ever is coming to Fox Sports 1 with huge matchups. Fox Super Bowl daily live from Times Square. Epic fights and special editions of Fox Sports Live. Super Bowl week is only on America's new sports network, Fox Sports 1. It begins January 27th.
Well, we'll see now if San Francisco is able to get Frank Gore going on that first down run. We haven't seen him get one like that in this game yet either.
He's on the sideline as Kendall Hunter gets it, sticks his head down and picks up a first down. So a first down for San Francisco, picked up by Hunter, who is the backup to Frank Gore. And Gore stays on the sideline before this first down play.
Yeah, they're checking him out over there. And as I was saying, Joe, you had one long run by Colin Kaepernick, sets up the touchdown for the 49ers. And then, of course, the long touchdown run by Marshawn Lynch. And that's really been the offense for the most part in this game. We had the long ball to Doug Baldwin, but there hasn't been much. We'll see if that running game now starts to get going for the 49ers like we saw for Seattle.
Kaepernick pass is caught. Crabtree. And Crabtree is going to spin his way to the 50. Jim Harbaugh called Crabtree a couple of weeks ago the greatest catcher of all time because of his great hands.
Well, Byron Maxwell, he got away with a hold at the top of that route, but Crabtree fights through it. That's a perfectly thrown ball by Colin Kaepernick and an excellent catch.
Longest completion of the day, 22 yards for Kaepernick, and now Colin takes it left side, getting a block. Crabtree out in front of him, and Kaepernick takes him down inside the 30 to the 28. Design run and a beautiful play called by Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, Kaepernick, you see him tuck it as soon as he comes out. Blocking on the outside. Crabtree immediately got engaged with Byron Maxwell on the edge. Kaepernick off of the play fake, tucks it in his left arm. It was a run the entire way. And Greg Roman said we're going to try to get him going with his legs, and that's proven to be true.
Ball inside the 30. Play clock was at 1. Kaepernick balls out. Picked up by Goodwin, the center. And Goodwin turns it into a positive play. It was knocked out by Michael Bennett. And again, a loose ball ends up in the hands of the 49ers.
Yeah, but that's what every offensive lineman dreams of. Jonathan Goodwin picking it up and turning it into positive yardage. But once again, Michael Bennett right there, and to his front side, Kaepernick never feels it. Jonathan Goodwin, fortunately, is in a position. Normally, you just go down on this ball. He picks it up and says, I don't know how many chances I'm going to get in my career for this opportunity.
A carry of 2 yards, 2nd and 8. Kaepernick hops through trouble and now throws. End zone, caught for the touchdown. Anquan Boldin. And Kaepernick made that happen.
Just Kaepernick giving his guy an opportunity to make a play. When he turned it loose, Joe, I thought it was a very risky throw on his part. Earl Thomas is who picks him up. Looked like he was in a perfect position then to make a play on the ball. He's just a little off balance, isn't able to jump quite the way that he would like. And it's touchdown 49ers. It looked like he might have gotten his hand just enough on the ball, but not enough to cause an incompletion.
The two guys on the active rosters in this game to win a Super Bowl. Jonathan Goodwin, who recovered the fumble. He won one with New Orleans back in '09. Boldin the other. He won it with the Ravens last year. He gets a touchdown. 49ers up 7. Well, Mr. Aikman, what did you think of that throw when it left the right hand of Colin Kaepernick?
Joe, when he turned it loose, I thought it was an interception. This is a secondary that led the NFL with 28 interceptions. Earl Thomas has some of the best ball skills for a safety in the NFL, and he was in great position and just couldn't make a play on the ball.
This is Baldwin taking it out of the end zone. Baldwin gets a block. Doug Baldwin is going to take it inside the 35. He's got a 51-yard reception, and now he comes up with a big return after the touchdown of 69 yards.
Just a big play in special teams. He presses the double team. It's a right return. He gets up the sideline, and then it's just a matter of him getting as much out of this as he can. The 49ers do a great job of answering Seattle, and then right away you get the big return by the Seahawks to set them up in a great position, down 7 points.
So Baldwin catches his breath. Turbin starts this series in the backfield. Big 69-yard return. Here's Tate with blocking in front of him, and Tate with a first down at the 20. 13 yards to Golden Tate. Never be without football. Get coverage of every NFL game on NFL Mobile. Call ** NFL to download it now. That 69-yard return by Doug Baldwin was a season long for the Seahawks, and it comes at a time where they're down by 7 in the NFC Championship. Lynch to the 16, gain of 4.
Well, Doug Baldwin, he set up the first field goal for Seattle with the big completion down the middle of the field, and then because of this return, he immediately sets up the Seahawks for a chance for more points, whether that's a field goal chance or an opportunity to come away with a touchdown. And San Francisco, with their backs against the wall, after they go down the field and get the touchdown, trying to make a stop here and not to allow the tying score.
2nd and 6. It's Lynch again. Breaks one tackle. Eric Reed, the rookie safety, is the guy who made the stop. Mott Brooks couldn't bring him down initially. But there was Eric Reed, first-round pick out of LSU.
Yeah, just really good defense across the board. They've got someone accounting for Russell Wilson had he have kept the ball, and then the pursuit. Talk about it. Both of these defenses, they fly around hard to get outside on them. Most of the runs that you see are runs that are inside between those tackles, and they're quick hitters.
Now 3rd down and 7. They blow this thing dead before it starts. It's against Seattle.
False start. Offense, number 60. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
They get the center, Pro Bowler this year, Max Unger.
Yeah, Max Unger, he flinches just a little bit, and right there.
Aldon Smith agrees, and that moves the football back to make it a 3rd down and 12.
Seattle overall has been pretty good on 3rd down. This is 3rd and 12, but they have struggled with really anything over 4 yards throughout the game.
Blitz coming, and in trouble is Wilson, who just throws it away. Pressure by Patrick Willis. 49ers want a flag for grounding, and Sterator will talk to the other officials and see if he's going to throw a flag.
Yeah, I think he's outside the pocket, Joe, but you get the pressure there by Willis, and then Carlos Rogers.
And the ball did get back beyond the previous spot. 4th down, Seattle.
Carlos Rogers comes off the edge the opposite way, so it was close, but I think it was a good non-call. Great stop defensively by San Francisco. Vic Fangio once again decides to bring a little bit of pressure, and it's effective.
40-yard try now by Hauschka. Wilson was outside the pocket, no grounding. Hauschka hit from 32 earlier, and his good season continues. It was set up by the 69-yard kickoff return a season long for Doug Baldwin, who was just chilling, hanging out against the goalpost before this return that helps make it a 4-point game. 49er defense, a nice job after the long kickoff return by Baldwin. It ends up with a 40-yard field goal by Hauschka. 4-point game. 2 red zone trips for Seattle so far, and they've come away with 6 points. That's to the 49ers defense credit. #1 scoring defense this year during the regular season, Seattle. San Francisco right behind them, allowing only 17 points per game. The 2 teams everybody expected to play in this game are playing the exact kind of game everybody expected here tonight. 49ers up 4. Will start at the 20. Mike Pereira, we have you here, so let's hear from you. Was that a good no call on Russell Wilson?
Yeah, it really was, Joe, because the tackle box is the outside edge of the left tackle, and when he releases it, he's right on the edge and actually just outside the edge. And anything remotely close to the edge of the pocket when he's moving out of the pocket, they are going to put him out of the pocket.
It's Gore. Nothing. Second down and 10 coming up. You are looking at the side of the 2015 U.S. Open. Chambers Bay sits 35 miles south of Seattle. Link-style course. Home to the 2015 U.S. Open right here on Fox. June of 2015. We're thrilled to be a part of this sport and this historic event in University Place, Washington. On second down, Kaepernick underneath. He's got Vernon Davis, who gets popped. Ball is out, and now they're going to say no catch. Kam Chancellor, who's a safety and who is as big as any linebacker, delivered the blow. Incomplete.
Kam Chancellor, he reads this, and so he's able to drive on Vernon Davis and lay a big hit on him. And Vernon Davis has yet to catch a ball, and I can't remember them even throwing one in his direction until this play. But Kam Chancellor, you called it, Joe. I saw him at the practice on Friday. I couldn't believe how big he was, and he can deliver a hit.
Just got it away. Kaepernick in trouble. Throws it away. Crabtree was closest to it. It looked like Kaepernick was just trying to get rid of it. Under heavy pressure, it's 4th and 10 in a good series by this Seattle defense.
An outstanding series. I mean, really, they've been good throughout this game. The only thing San Francisco's been able to do offensively is run the ball with Colin Kaepernick. I mean, they haven't really thrown the ball that effectively, and Frank Gore has been a non-issue.
They're going to throw a flag as Andy Lee was hit and hit hard. Golden Tate on the return, but a flag is down, and Lee gets up limping. Chris Maragos came in and hit the kicker. It's the 5-yard variety.
Yeah, they're going to call running into the kicker, Joe, which is different from roughing the kicker. That is a 5-yard penalty.
Running into the kicker. Defense number 42.
And now Steratore is stopped mid-sentence by Jim Harbaugh. It's just a 5-yard penalty as opposed to a personal foul, which would be an automatic first down. And Harbaugh is making it clear with Steratore what he wants to do.
Defense number 42. The penalty is declined. First down, Seattle. Timeout.
Take a break, come back. Seattle will have it after the punt by Lee. Seahawks at home, down 4. It's the new version of the quarterback in the NFL. Certainly not pocket passers. Let's go back. Mike Pereira is with us. And we see Lee get hit with that plant leg, and Mike Pereira, was that the proper call?
No, really, and I think Jim Harbaugh was making the point with Gene Steratore. If you hit the plant leg like they did here with the ankle turning over, that's roughing. If you hit the kicking leg, the leg that's up in the air, then that's a 5-yarder and not an automatic first down. So here when you see plant leg, ankle gets turned over, that is the 15 yards. Should have been roughing the kicker as opposed to running in.
Which would have been an automatic first down.
Absolutely.
Instead, it's called the 5-yard variety. Seattle gets away with one. Harbaugh knows it. And he has to watch his defense go back to work instead of getting a first down by penalty.
Yeah, not only do they not get the first down, Joe, to keep that drive alive, but look at the field position right now that's afforded Seattle. Who knows what San Francisco might have done, you know, with more downs, but Seattle wouldn't be starting with the ball where they have it right here.
Here's Lynch. Marshawn Lynch into a pile of bodies, good for 5. Do not miss Bruno Mars and the Red Hot Chili Peppers performing live at the Pepsi Super Bowl 48 halftime show on February 2nd. Check out exclusive content on Pepsi.com and get hyped for halftime. So Kaepernick on the sideline. Talked about the new age quarterback. Kaepernick has thrown for 83 yards and run for 120. 2nd and 5. Lynch trying to stretch for the first down. And with the way they're coming in, they're going to give Marshawn Lynch enough, and they do. First down.
Right now you can just kind of feel that we saw it on the touchdown drive and the long run that he had, but he had a couple nice runs even leading up to that. And as you see there in the first half, San Francisco did a nice job on him, but he's capable of taking it the distance on any given carry. And right now it just seems like some of those things are starting to break open a little bit more clearly than they were there in that first half.
Wilson keeps it. Going to float it down the middle for Kearse. The pass broken up. Well played downfield by the two safeties, Whitner and Reed.
He had a chance to get the ball down to Kearse. The safeties, they're able to make good plays on this ball. Had Russell Wilson had been able to drive this a little bit more, when it comes out, as you see, it's in the air for a while. Dante Whitner, he's able to get in there and help make a play, but Eric Reed over the top, and he gets his hand in there. And it's Dante Whitner then that finishes it off and forces the incompletion.
Wilson throws, pass caught, first down. That's Baldwin.
They run the outside breaking route, comeback route, and Baldwin creates some separation on Brock. A pretty easy lane there for Russell Wilson to make the throw. You know, Baldwin, heck, whenever they need to make a play, Baldwin, whether it's in special teams or as a receiver, he's made it.
109 yards returning kicks. 107 yards catching passes for Baldwin. Here's Turbin. And Turbin to the 34. And the game clock and the play clock are pretty much matched up. We'll see if the Seahawks want to run one more play. It's 2nd and 6. And Wilson into the huddle to call it.
Hey, Nico!
Lynch back in the ball game. Wilson pumped it once, keeps it in trouble, and throws it away. Heavy pressure Ahmad Brooks, and the 49ers are again looking for the flag, and they should get it.
There's no question, Joe, that he was in the pocket.
And they're going to throw it. They throw the flag for grounding, and this is way back on the call for intentional grounding. The flag came out of the pocket of Gene Steratore. Let's take another look. The ball never did, I don't think, get back to the line of scrimmage, and all that running around, it looked like Wilson stayed in the pocket.
Offense, number 3. Although the quarterback was out of the pocket, the forward pass did not get back to the line of scrimmage. It will be a spot foul, loss of down, 3rd down. This is the end of the 3rd quarter. Timeout.
Harbaugh gets the call, and it's the right call. They said he was out of the pocket. That was close. The ball did not get back to the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and forever when we start the 4th. So with that call of intentional grounding, it's a 16-yard loss. They mark it in midfield. 3rd down and 22. Wilson's been sacked 4 times, under pressure a lot. We start the 4th quarter. Passes underneath. Caught by the tight end Miller. He's to the 35. That's it. 4th down coming up. Be a 53-yard try. But back inside field goal range with that 15-yard throw to Zach Miller.
Yeah, you take a look at this and see now what is Pete Carroll going to decide to do, because Steven Hauschka, he hit a 53-yarder earlier this year, and that's what it looks like they're going to do. They're going to give him an opportunity to see if he can't hit this one from that same distance.
Hauschka's late getting out there. They reset the play clock. Hauschka had to be told a couple of times by Pete Carroll to get out there. 53-yard try.
That's usually not a good sign.
No. And they may have to use a timeout. And they will. Shake of the head from Pete Carroll. That was odd. Before a 53-yard try, that's in the range for Hauschka. The night before Super Bowl 48, find out who will take home the most prestigious awards in the NFL. Tune in for the announcement of Rookie of the Year, MVP, the 2014 Hall of Fame class, and more on Saturday, February 1st at 8 Eastern, right here on Fox. So Hauschka is going to stay on the sideline, and the offense comes back on the field before a 4th and 7.
Yeah, interesting what all happened there as to why Hauschka wasn't getting out onto the field, and they had to burn a timeout. And, now they're going to go for it, and that timeout could prove costly as we move through the remainder of this game.
So a little indecision on the sideline, but in the end attempting a 4th and 7. Is thrown. It's a free play into the end zone. The pass caught for the touchdown. Kearse. They got him with the hard count, had a free play, and then get the touchdown.
They go trips to one side. They go 3 verticals, and Kearse is in the slot position, and Carlos Rogers is in a great position to make a play, just is unable to do that. So you get a free play. He takes a shot. He's going to take a shot anyway. There was nowhere else to go with the football. So instead of potentially then making Pete Carroll make a decision, you go for it on 4th and 2, or do you allow him to kick the field goal? They get the touchdown.
They needed 7. They get 35 and the lead. They got the 49ers to jump. And then it was Kearse in the end zone, a jump and a catch and a lead for the Seahawks, up 3.
Game on Fox is sponsored by Subway Restaurants. Any regular footlong is a $5 footlong at Subway all Jan-U-Any long. By Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL. And by Verizon.
Seahawks trying to get to their 2nd Super Bowl in franchise history, have their first lead of this game. They've scored every time they've had it in this second half. And they scored on a 4th down. Hauschka kicks it. The return by LaMichael James. And James out to the 29. A flag is down on the return. Think about that chain of events that led to that touchdown. Here's
During
the
the return, holding return team number 67. Off the distance, 10-yard penalty. First down, San Francisco.
Let's go back to what happened when the Seahawks just had it. They had the grounding call. Then they get the 15-yarder to Zach Miller. Hauschka doesn't know whether to go onto the field or not. Play clock's winding down. The timeout's taken. They go for it instead of trying the field goal and Kearse with a leaping catch.
And you forget to mention how Seattle got the ball, and that was because the officials called running into the punter instead of roughing the punter, which would have kept the drive going for the 49ers.
The penalty for the hold on the return moves it back to the 11. To the sideline, pass is broken up by Maxwell. Anquan Boldin, the intended target. And Maxwell, you talk about depth and good drafting by both organizations. Byron Maxwell is a 6th-round pick that's playing like a 1st-rounder.
Yeah, and it's even more impressive, Joe, when you consider that they really don't want to throw the ball at Richard Sherman. No opposing quarterback does. He's maybe the best corner in all of football, so Maxwell's getting a lot of looks, and he's held up well.
Ricky.
On 2nd and 10, Vernon Davis, his 2nd pass attempt. They've only thrown his way twice. He's good for 5. Chancellor on the stop. 3rd down coming up, down to Pam Oliver.
Well, Joe, sure it's loud, but we're still waiting for that deafening noise that we've heard about all week and basically all the time. It's not terribly loud down here. You can hear the person next to you. Obviously, it gets louder when the Niners offense is on the field, but only one false start for them so far. Back to you.
We're getting ready to get it right here, I'd imagine, on 3rd down. The 49ers have not been good on this down, but this is a big play right here for them.
Kaepernick. Pass is caught. And now 2 for 8 on 3rd down, and it's Boldin who makes the catch. And again, it's Kaepernick rolling left, throwing across his body for the 1st down.
Not easy to do either. This one's a little bit better than the one he made earlier in the game. At least Anquan Boldin's in alignment with him, but to be able to get enough on this throw, movement to his left, that's an outstanding job and really illustrates the arm strength of Kaepernick. And you look at this game and how it's unfolded, Joe, I really think it's going to be the arm of Kaepernick that allows the 49ers to continue to move the football and potentially win this game.
Hand off to Hunter. And the smaller of the 2 backs between he and Gore picks up 2. The 2014 Pro Bowl is unconferenced. It's fantasy football for real. Hall of Famers Jerry Rice and Deion Sanders select the teams Wednesday at the first ever Pro Bowl draft. And watch the Pro Bowl live from Hawaii next Sunday at 7 Eastern. Go to NFL.com/Pro Bowl to learn more. 2nd and 8. Kaepernick gonna run. Gets a block. Gore was out there in front of him blocking. He's going to be about a yard, maybe a yard and a half shy of a 1st down. As Kaepernick adds to his rushing totals up to 126.
That was the same play they ran earlier in the game, Joe. There was never any intention of Colin Kaepernick throwing the football. That was a run designed the entire time.
They're going to throw a flag for delay of game. And 3rd and 1 just became 3rd and 6.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Well, that's on Colin Kaepernick. He's got to see the play clock, know where it's located, know exactly how much time he has, and that's a huge mistake on his part.
Kaepernick is in trouble. Ball's out. Recovered. Play is live. Down inside the 10. Recovered by Bennett.
Cliff Avril, he's able to get by Anthony Davis at right tackle, and he's the one who gets it loose, and Bennett then in pursuit gets the gratuitous bounce right into his hands. And you know, how big was the delay of game penalty now, Joe? In all likelihood, they run the football on 3rd down in that situation. Now they're forced to throw it. They get a key turnover.
The 12th man had a lot to do with that last sequence of events. Avril forced it. Bennett picked it up. Avril adding to the end of a big year, the free agent from the Lions. One of 3 free agents added up front on the defense by John Schneider in the Seahawks front office. 1st and goal. It's Lynch. Willis made the stop after Aldon Smith couldn't bring him down initially.
Well, you talk about a key defensive possession right here. Seattle has had problems in the red zone today. Right now, as you look at this game with a 2017 lead for Seattle, if they're able to punch this in and come away with a touchdown, a 2-score lead just seems to be maybe too much for the 49ers, and they're hoping it doesn't come to that.
You see Lynch over 100 yards on the day. Defense for San Francisco had gone 22 games without allowing anybody over 100. Plays dead. False start.
False start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
That's the rookie, Alvin Bailey, who's in as an extra offensive lineman. A free agent out of Arkansas. He comes out after the false start.
Now they brought him in as the tight end. He moves just enough, and it doesn't take much.
And moves the ball back outside the 10.
FC 52, right?
On 2nd and goal, pass is too high. You know, when you go back to the defensive play made by Avril, who was added along with Bennett, Steve Horn, our editorial consultant, points out that these are 2 teams that draft to play against one another and add free agents to play against one another. Those are 2 guys that were brought in to try and slow down Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, and as soon as one of these teams releases a guy, he usually gets picked up within 24 hours by the opposing team. And both of these general managers have done great jobs putting these rosters together.
3rd and goal. 49ers need a stop. Pass is caught, but short of a 1st down. The ball is out. Kearse made the catch, and then it looked like he lost it. First things first, he was short of the end zone on 3rd down and goal, but then it looked like the ball popped free.
Yeah, it looked like NaVorro Bowman may have been the guy who was able to pull it out, and they're saying that Seattle maintains possession. NaVorro Bowman, who led the 49ers in both tackles and forced fumbles, almost was able to get a big one right here.
I think somebody's hurt at the bottom of that pile. It's 4th down. Seattle keeps the ball. But they were calling for members of the training staff to come off this sideline and help one of the players who's down. And it could be Bowman. Bowman's the guy that forced it. He's got the ball right there, right in his gut, but you see the left leg of NaVorro Bowman get pinned underneath, and it might have been at that moment that he lost the football. But Bowman comes out of there with the ball, but as I look at Mike Pereira, he's telling us this is not reviewable. So this could be another bad break going against the 49ers. I mean, Bowman's got it clearly.
Yeah, it's out right there. He's not down. Bowman has it.
Oh.
There's the knee, Joe.
Oh. And he still maintains possession. And yet they're going to say Seattle keeps the football.
Well, that's a hard one to watch.
That's why both Seattle and San Francisco players were screaming for somebody to come off the sideline. Just a devastating injury to one of the best players in the NFL, NaVorro Bowman. Mike Pereira, you're with us. We see Bowman come out of that obviously with a football, but not reviewable.
Yeah, and I didn't hear Gene Steratore announcement, but if they called it a fumble, if they did call it a fumble, who recovers it in the field of play is not reviewable.
Yeah, they have to be calling it a fumble because they marked the ball down inside the 5. So they called it a catch fumble, but Seattle has the ball, and they bring the cart on to take Bowman off. Take a break. The All-Pro NaVorro Bowman gets carted off the field. Meanwhile, Jim Harbaugh's pleading his case with Gene Steratore. He knows from up above that NaVorro Bowman's laying there with a football on the ground after the fumble by Kearse. Bowman forced it, had it, was laying on the ground, down by contact, obviously, with the ball. And somehow nobody saw that. None of the officials. Mike Pereira, again, this is not reviewable.
Yeah, and remember now, this recovery of a loose ball in the field of play is not reviewable. If it's in the end zone, yes, you can actually review it there because the scoring play trumps the reviewing aspect. On the sideline, you can also, if the recovering player happens to be out of bounds. But this is the second time this has happened this year, and I've been told that they will look to make this reviewable next year.
Meanwhile, it's 4th and goal. The ball's inside the 1, and Seattle's going to go for it.
I like the decision here. It's a 3-point game. You get a chance to extend it to a 2-possession game. I think Pete Carroll's doing the right thing.
On 4th and goal, Lynch lost the ball. It's out. And either way, the 49ers are going to get it, as the Seahawks are on top of it back at the 15-yard line. And this defense that stood up against the Panthers last week makes a goal line stop here, as Marshawn Lynch never had the ball cleanly. And it's still a 3-point game in Seattle. 4th quarter.
On Fox is sponsored by the new Windows. One experience for everything in your life.
Aerial coverage provided by Nationwide Insurance. Back to the exchange with Wilson and Lynch.
Yeah, you're going to see the high handoff here by Russell Wilson. He hits Marshawn Lynch up on the breastplate of the shoulder pads. That ball's got to be down lower. It's hard to handle. It's fundamental football. And Seattle 0 for 3 in the red zone here this afternoon.
Justice served, however, as the 49ers get the ball after not getting it on what could have been a turnover and should have been a turnover. Here's Hunter. Kendall Hunter with a nice run to start this drive for the 49ers, down by 3 as they take over after that missed exchange on a 4th and goal try.
We've got another guy down right now for Seattle. But I think that, as we see, that's Michael Bennett, who's been a real force both last week and again this week. And I like what the 49ers did defensively, Joe, off of that fumble, knowing that it was 4th down. Ahmad Brooks trying to scoop it up, knowing it was going to be their ball. Because of it being 4th down, they didn't necessarily have to recover it. They're trying to get as much out of it as they could. They just failed to be able to make the grab and then run with it.
That defense so strong up front. They've lost NaVorro, Bowman. Bennett's going to walk off under his own power. First down with the ball at the 26. For the 49ers, down by 3. Gore on the sideline. Kendall Hunter in the backfield. Kaepernick is going to be picked. Intercepted by Chancellor.
Well, Colin Kaepernick the last 2 weeks has gotten away with some errant throws that Green Bay and Carolina couldn't intercept. And this team, like I said, they don't miss many opportunities. Earl Thomas did earlier. Kam Chancellor was underneath that throw from the time the ball was snapped. I don't know what Colin Kaepernick saw that made him think he could get that ball into Anquan Boldin. Just a terrible decision and a terrible throw.
For the 49ers, turnovers on back-to-back possessions against this defense that led the NFL with 39 takeaways. And for Kaepernick, his 5th interception thrown to the Seahawks among 10 all year. 5 have come to Seattle. Taking over at the 40. Handoff is to Turpin. Down inside the 40, a pickup on first down of 2. Justin Smith on the tackle.
Well, now you're relying on this 49er defense once again to keep you in this ball game and not give up, any points. And if you do, keep it still a 1-possession game with a field goal. But I talked about it on the touchdown throw to Boldin. Even on that throw, Earl Thomas was in a position to make a play on it, and he failed to. It resulted in a touchdown. But Colin Kaepernick over the last few weeks has gotten away with some throws, and he tried to once again, and why I'm not sure, but Kam Chancellor made him pay.
Now 2nd and 8. They fake it to Lynch. Pass is too high. Baldwin the intended target. Jermaine Brock gave him a shove at the end of the play. 3rd and 8 coming up. Back to the interception.
We'll go back. It's real simple. It's a 3-deep coverage. You've got the outside corner playing soft, and then you try to run a defender underneath those outside throws. And Seattle, they've been doing it all day. They've been doing it all year. They don't fool you with what they're doing. And as a quarterback, you have to know who can take throws away, and Chancellor showed it right away. But right now, this defense has answered the bell, forcing a 3rd and long.
Playing without NaVorro, Bowman. 3rd down. Pass is caught. Tate had the first down and now has to fight for it again.
He almost gave it up, didn't he? When he had the completion, he had the first down, and then in trying to get more yardage, he gave up the first down, but ultimately got it anyway. So a big 3rd down conversion to keep this drive going, but then also to take more time off this clock for Seattle.
Third catch of the game for Golden Tate. Broken play. Lynch trying to turn it into a positive. Doing all he can. And Marshawn Lynch picks up 2 when he could have lost 6.
Just another miscommunication in the backfield between Marshawn Lynch and Russell Wilson. Aldon Smith was the one who was in position to make a play. 265 pounds of him. It just shows you how tough this guy is to get to the ground.
Game clock under 5.5 to go. 2nd and 8. Play clock at 4. And they're going to have to use a timeout. Their 2nd. 2nd down and 8 when we come back for the Seahawks up by 3. Over the last 5 games coming in, the 49ers had turned it over just one time in this quarter. The NFC Championship game, they've turned it over twice. Each of the last 2 times they've had it. Now 2nd and 8 for the Seahawks. Now a drop of the snap by Wilson, who's in trouble, and just throws it away. And a flag is thrown out of the secondary.
Lineman downfield there, Joe.
The indication is offensive pass interference from Gene's territory. Either way, it's against Seattle.
Yeah, Kearse was downfield blocking as well, and it was a running play.
Offense, number 15, 10-yard penalty, replay, 2nd down.
So that'll move them back.
Well, they just don't get the exchange, and it's going to be a running play, and Russell Wilson just trying to avoid losing yardage, throws it, and they could have gotten a number of things there.
We saw the missed exchange between Wilson and Lynch when they were going for it on 4th and goal. Now between the center, Unger, and Wilson at 2nd and 18.
Easy. Hey, even buck.
Lynch gets it. Ray McDonald drags him to the ground. Under 5 to go. Say this for San Francisco, a team that's had to use a lot of timeouts in previous games early. They've got all 3 of their timeouts remaining. Now they're riding their defense, hoping for a stop on 3rd and long to keep this a 1-possession game. Plenty of time left for Jim Harbaugh's team, trying to get to back-to-back Super Bowls.
Well, last time they were in this situation, they went 3 verticals on the 4th down and picked up the touchdown. They got 3 receivers to this side now.
3rd down and 15. Pass is caught by Tate, but he's wrapped up immediately.
Well, I think it was, sorry, Joe, I think it was good thinking there by Darrell Bevell and Pete Carroll in that, 3rd and long, the chances of picking that up weren't very good. So they ran 2 vertical routes. They run underneath and just try to add as much to this field goal attempt as possible.
47-yard try from Hauschka, who has missed only 2 field goals all season. He is perfect. 3 for 3 today after going 3 for 3 on a bad weather day against the Saints last week. It's a 6-point game in Seattle. Seahawks have scored 13 straight points and scored on 4 of their 5 second-half possessions. Colin Kaepernick about to head back to the field. Now down by 6. James on the return. Across the 20. 3.5 to go. All 3 timeouts remaining for San Francisco. Fox UFC Saturday returns this week as Seattle's own Benson Henderson takes on Josh Thompson. Plus a full card of epic bouts. Coverage begins with the prelims on Fox Sports 1. Then switch to Fox for the main card at 8. 12th man climbs in for Seattle, with their team 3.5 minutes away from an appearance in Super Bowl 48. Here's James. Looked like he was going to throw it, and he lost a yard.
Yeah, he was, Joe. He came out of there, and he pulls up. It looked like he was maybe going to try to come back and throw it to Colin Kaepernick. I didn't see anybody there to his play side, but just didn't feel good enough about it and kept it, which he has the option of doing. But right now, the 49ers, as we know, they've done it a lot of different ways, and they've been to some tough places. But this is about as tough as it gets right here. Down 6 at this stadium against this defense.
Second down and 11. Pass caught by Boldin. And Anquan Boldin is going to be marked at the 30. 2 yards shy of a first down. He picked up 9. Bobby Wagner on the stop. Clock is winding. Under 2.5 to go. No urgency in the huddle. On 3rd down and 2. Pass broken up. Crabtree the intended target. Kam Chancellor, who has a pick, was there defending, and now it's 4th down, and we are at the 2-minute warning.
Michael Crabtree saw Kam Chancellor right there and ready to be able to make a hit. He pulls up just enough. He doesn't get the completion.
2 minutes left. 4th down when we come back. They put 1 second on the clock. 4th and 2. Kaepernick out to his left. Throws, and he's got Gore. Biggest first down of the game. And now we're officially at the 2-minute warning. 1:53 remaining. And a 17-yard completion to Frank Gore. On a 4th and 2. 1:53 to go. What a play by Kaepernick. Again out to his left. He found Gore, who has a first down for San Francisco. What happened on that previous break was Gene Steratore put 1 more second on the clock. That's why we had to come back quickly for that 4th and 2 and a 17-yard completion to keep hope alive for Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers.
It was a clutch 4th down play by that man right there, Kaepernick.
Still all 3 timeouts left. 1:53. Kaepernick breaks a tackle. He's into Seattle territory. Colin Kaepernick picks up 4. Malcolm Smith on the tackle. 1:39 and counting.
Well, they go to their hurry up here, and one thing that the 49ers really have not done much of is motion and move these receivers to help them with some of these releases against this defensive group.
Kaepernick, pass caught by Boldin. Another tough catch. He's to the 45-yard line. A gain of 4. 3rd down and 2.
Still obviously a lot of time. The fact that San Francisco still has 3 timeouts.
Kaepernick, sideline. He's got Crabtree. And Crabtree is down inside the 30 to the 29. 16 yards to Michael Crabtree.
Tell you, that was that same throw he made that was intercepted by Kam Chancellor. It was that Earl Thomas that had a chance to get underneath that, but a little bit of a difference when you're talking about Earl Thomas at 5'10 and Kam Chancellor at 6'3.
Just over Thomas. And into the hands of Crabtree. After a juggle, he took it to the 39. State Farm postgame show is coming up. Who's going to Super Bowl 48 to take on the Broncos?
That was actually Walter Thurman, their nickel corner, Joe, but he's 5'11", so you know, he wasn't quite able to get up and make a play on that throw, but Kaepernick kept that one high, and they were able to complete it.
From the 29-yard line. On 1st down, Kaepernick slings it, pass is caught. That's Vernon Davis. He's had a quiet day, but Vernon Davis gets a first down after a catch of 11 yards.
This is a great drive right here by the 49ers. The Legion of Boom and the #1 pass defense in football, and here the 49ers have driven it down on the arm of Colin Kaepernick with a chance to take the lead.
Kaepernick, end zone, Crabtree, broken up, picked off! This game is over! Knocked in the air, intercepted by Smith. Off the hands of Richard Sherman. Sherman made the play, and Smith was waiting for it. Flags came in at the end of the play for unsportsmanlike conduct. But with 22 seconds left, it's Richard Sherman, who played for Jim Harbaugh at Stanford, knocking it into the air, and Smith there for the interception.
There's not many guys who can make a play on this ball. Richard Sherman, who you said he was a wide receiver at Stanford, he's out of position, but he's able to turn enough and get his left hand on that ball just to keep it from being a touchdown. And how about Malcolm Smith in pursuit for the interception?
Penalties half the distance to the goal. First down, Seattle.
That's the back end of the play. The shove by Crabtree came after Richard Sherman got right into the face of Michael Crabtree. And that was the penalty on Sherman. And then Sherman, after making the play on the tip, leading to the interception, got the flag, which moves it back to the 10. And a timeout taken by San Francisco.
Well, they had a great drive going, Joe. The way that they were able to move the football, they were passing the ball and picking up some yardage, and they tested Richard Sherman. Really hadn't challenged him much in this ball game, and what looked like it was going to be an incompletion because of the deflection and the hustle by Malcolm Smith. And they're able to thwart that drive.
For the Seahawks, this was their third conference championship game. They're going to go to the Super Bowl for the second time. First time 2005 under the leadership of Mike Holmgren, Matt Hasselbeck, the quarterback, and now it's Pete Carroll, and it's Russell Wilson, and it's this great defense, and it's these fans who will salute this team and send them off to Super Bowl 48 in New Jersey for a date with the Broncos on February 2nd.
Well, that's going to be a great one, Joe, when you talk about this defense and how good this secondary is and how it gets an opportunity to face Peyton Manning and those weapons from the Denver Broncos. That's going to be one heck of a matchup.
This 12th man factors in, no doubt. This will be the last snap of the game. And the Seahawks are going to the Super Bowl. Let's send you down to the field and Aaron Andrews.
Joe, thank you so much. Richard, let me ask you the final play. Take me through it.
Well, I'm the best corner in the game. When you try me with a sorry receiver like Crabtree, that's the result you're going to get. Don't you ever talk about me.
Who was talking about you?
Crabtree, don't you open your mouth about the best. Or I'm going to shut it for you real quick. LOB.
All right, and Joe, back over to you.
All right, well, we saw what Richard Sherman did at the end of that play. Running, patting Crabtree on the backside, then getting in his face. He made the play. Smith got the interception. And Pete Carroll is going to take the Seahawks to Super Bowl 48. State Farm postgame show is coming up. There's the play that, in essence, ended this game. A 3-turnover game for the 49ers. And the Seahawks are going to the Super Bowl for the second time in franchise history. We'll take a break. So much more to come from Seattle after this.